Hey everybody, quick orientation video about creating a podcast and what the work that you're going to be doing here in Module 3. Hi, I'm the ghost in the machine in the corner here. Folks, here is Module 3, accessible here. You can see the button right there for it, okay? The relevant due dates for this module can be gotten to by hitting the course schedule. Okay, that will bring up this document. And you can see where we are right now, pardon me, and where we're going throughout the entire semester. It's mapped out here, except for the super secret assignment that's coming up in Module 5 to be announced. So we're going into Module 3. It's dedicated to you creating a podcast. This podcast is going to be on a topic that excites you, something that you have personal knowledge of, or maybe it's something that you've just decided to research now, you're interested in talking about, and so you've gone and you've gotten the research and you're sharing it in your podcast. Now, I'm going to go into the details about the assignment, how to submit it in just a second, but first, let me just take you through some of the things you're going to read and take a look at before you create your podcast, namely this video, how to start a podcast. You could take a look at this one as well, how to start a podcast for free. There's some redundant information in there, but the second video tends to expand on those ideas. I think it's worth watching both. Neither of them are very long. How to make a successful podcast is a good article. How to create an MP3 file, which may or may not be relevant to you, so I just set that aside and see if that's something you need to do. Now, getting involved in the discussion, that's something that you're going to need to do. Here's the due date for that, for your initial discussion post. Okay, you can see that coming up on this date right here. That's a very simple discussion post. All that is a one-sentence initial point about what podcast you think you want to do. What's going to be the topic? What kind of research are you going to look into? Then you're going to look at other people's one-sentence pitch, and you're going to respond with feedback. Is that something you're interested in? What aspects are you interested in? How do you think you could help them expand this idea, develop the idea, and make it something that more and more people would be interested in? Now, the next step of this particular discussion forum is when you create your first rough podcast, just the first blast through your podcast. It can be literally you just talking through what you're going to do on the recording, or it could be like a rough first take, second take. It's a chance for you to get that material on tape and get it up where people can look at it, where I can give you feedback. Again, the due dates can be found right here in the course schedule. Right about here is where you're going to want to be working on that podcast. And here is the rough podcast due date. You're going to post the rough of your podcast to this discussion forum. And you do that just like you create a discussion point. Most of you know how to do that at this point. You've done that in the class already. A little bit different now. You're going to put in the title of your podcast. You're either going to paste a link to that podcast if you created it and put it up on YouTube. I'll show you how to access information about doing that in a minute. Or you can go ahead and browse your computer and attach that file. Boom, go like that. Now, in order to do that, you'll have had to have created that file. How do you do that? Well, many of you have a smartphone, and you can find on that smartphone a voice memo recorder if you've got an Apple iPhone. Okay, it's going to be a very rough look at that. But there's a voice memo button right there. It's going to bring you up this screen. Boom. You see that big red button? You're going to hit that big red button. Watch me not be able to do it here. Okay, hit that big red button. Bingo. And I am in the middle of recording a voice memo. When I'm done, I'm going to hit that little thing. I'm going to put a title to it, and I'm going to be all done with it. Okay? All right? Now that I've created that, It will give me many different options, one of which will be to email it to myself. Uh, That'll be possible. It may even give you an option to directly upload it to YouTube. That's possible too. You may be able to upload it straight from your phone to Blackboard. I'm not sure about that, but you can give that a try if you like. I would say the best way is to send it to yourself, so you have it on your hard drive and you can upload it from there. Not complicated. It's already going to be formatted. You can use the resources here to create it into an MP3 if you happen to have a smartphone that has some unusual formatting. But go ahead and give it a shot. Get it up on that discussion board. We'll work through the bugs of it. You post it as a rough podcast, and we'll be taking a look at it through this week, marked here on the course schedule. Now, after you've done that and you've gotten some feedback, you'll be ready to create your final podcast. Now, what is this podcast going to be about? Well, as I said, it can be on any topic that's of interest to you that hopefully you can expand on by doing a little bit of extra research, really filling out your knowledge of that topic, or it could be a topic you've never done before, never looked into before, but now you're researching it and learning it and passing that knowledge on to us. 3 to 5 minutes long. You can interview a friend as a part of your podcast. However, we are social distancing, so please do not bring anybody in to your home or go anywhere just to do this. You can do this all by yourself with just your resources online, and I recommend that as a way of handling it. If you do have somebody else involved, as long as they're not another student in this class, then it only needs to be 3 to 5 minutes long. If you include a second student from this class, then each student, it needs to be another 3 minutes. So if there's 2 students from this class working together, it needs to be 6 to 10 minutes long. Okay, you need to speak in a clear and authoritative manner, which I'm sure you will do anyway. The audio quality needs to be good enough that I can hear you, so try not to do it, next to the washing machine or the dishwasher, or while there's, loud music playing, etc. I just need to be able to hear your voice clearly. Okay? The topic should be one that you are comfortable sharing with other students in the class. So I would say you're certainly free to do whatever interests you, but you're also free to accept the consequences if it's something offensive. I tend to run it through the mill of, well, is it something that my mom would want to listen to? And if it is, then it's probably going to be suitable for something that you would listen to as well. Okay? You're going to upload that MP3, MP4, or MP4A to the assignment area simply by clicking the title of this assignment. And again, if you've made it into something that you've uploaded to YouTube, you can just paste the link here. Or if you've sent that voice memo to yourself on your computer, you browse your hard drive, you click, you attach it, and you go from there. Now, you say, well, what is this business of taking it up to YouTube? Well, part of the convenience of taking it to YouTube is you don't really have to worry about formatting. If it's up on YouTube, then I'll have no problem seeing it, and neither will anybody else. So you go and do a little search, and you'll see lots of great videos about uploading audio to YouTube. You can upload an audio file and just attach a single image, and you'll have an audio up on YouTube. If you want to make that something that only I see or only somebody with the link sees, then you mark it as unlisted, or you can mark it as public. Do not mark it as private, because I will have to be subscribed to your channel in order to see it, and I don't want to do that. I'd have to subscribe first. It's a little chicken egg thing there. So unlisted or public. If you go over to YouTube, and you'll see the whole YouTube upload thing here. Many of you are already familiar with that. It's very simple, very intuitive, easy to select a file and upload it to YouTube. Okay? And when you get done uploading it, you'll have the option of marking it as unlisted, private, or public. Okay? Again, it needs to be unlisted or public. Okay? And you can always change that by simply going like that. Unless you're in my case, who having a difficult time doing that in this video because my image is blocking it. All right? So, all of that to look forward to. Module 3, here it is. All right? Working down, top to bottom, sending me questions if you have them, and creating a podcast by this due date. Okay? Final version of podcast due on that date. And then we'll move on to the next unit.